So this week we had we had 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. I did not even realize that. And so I woke up.
I didn't realize that either until I feel like a lot of people started talking. Well, it was actually when I was putting together the release calendar that we have to show all the releases that we're excited for.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, every other week it's 1, 1, 1, 2. And I was like, huh?
Well, I mean,
do you know why that is?
I don't. I'm guessing because it's like technically this is the mid-season, so they just wanted to boost it along further. I can put together why they probably did, but they never gave like an official reason. I can put together why though. And I'll start off by saying this again. Very similar last week. I love this show. I think they're doing a great job with it. From the changes that they did make with the show, with it being its own thing originally, and adding the stuff from the previous series, I think it's still really good. That being said, episode 5 and episode 6 drastically different. Drastically different
from each other or from the show as a whole?
From each other.
Okay.
Just tonally. Episode 5 is a self-contained story. Matt Murdock goes to the bank to apply for a loan for the law firm, and then the bank is getting robbed. Who is also there? Yusuf Khan, Kamala's father, who is in the entire episode. And there's a lot more comedy. Even the lighting for the episode, even though at the end of the episode, Matt beats the holy fucking shit out of another guy.
I mean, that's Daredevil. That's
yeah, but there's still like a lighter tone to that episode, and you can feel it throughout the entire episode. It's not bad by any means. I'm okay with Daredevil having a slightly lighter tone. I'm not like absurdly upset about that, especially because when you cut to episode 6, and this is where my qualm is, it goes right back to dark, and it's about a serial killer who's about to kill a child.
Oh, so it's like a huge tonal shift. Like,
it's like a massive tonal shift.
My thought process for when I first saw it, because I know nothing about where the story is or anything other than what you tell me every week. But my thought was, oh, maybe these 2 episodes like are a continuous story. And they were just like, it's the mid-season. Let's just release both episodes at once. From the sound of it, it is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. Also, last week you asked a very good question of, is this story being very faithful and truthful to the adaptation of Born Again? Well, I actually finally started reading Born Again, and I'm about 75% of the way through.
Oh, wow. That's fast. I mean, I know it's not like a super long story, but geez.
Well, I got to do something when I'm at work and I'm sitting around for 2 hours not doing anything. So
fair enough.
And to answer your question in the most simple way possible, no. It's just the name.
I mean, based on just what you've been telling me, it doesn't even sound remotely close to the comics.
I mean, like they're Born Again. I mean,
other than the fact that they both have Daredevil in it.
Yeah, I mean, well, and the only thing that I've seen that has come close to it is season 3. Like I mentioned last week, season 3 borrows from one part of the story, which is that Kingpin makes Melvin make another suit because he's trying to frame Matt Murdock, frame Daredevil. Kingpin knows who he is, and instead he sends this insane assassin in Bullseye to go kill people dressed as Daredevil. I mean, that is literally ripped from that comic, but that's the only thing that I've ever seen that's from the Born Again comic. Now, for all I know, season 2 of this show could easily borrow more from the comic, and especially
because I know it has already been confirmed for a season 2, and I wonder if maybe this is a setup in a way, and like season 1 will end as a way to officially kick off Born Again. Now, I will say, I would not be a fan of that. Like, even if the episodes are great, I still wish that they would have called it something different. If you're going to call it Daredevil Born Again, literally okay, I guess the only counter argument is, they're using this as Daredevil is being born again in Disney and no longer in Netflix world, which I feel like that is a lot more the reason. If the story's not the same, that might be a lot more the reason why they're calling it Born Again. I don't like that, though, because Daredevil Born Again, like I said last week, is the most recognizable Daredevil storyline. Like, you say Daredevil and you ask someone to think of a storyline, it's Born Again. Like, there's other great Daredevil storylines, but Born Again is the Daredevil storyline. And taking that name and like, I guess, mixing it up and adding from what sounds like just a villain of the week episodic style, I don't know. Like, again, I'm not saying the episodes are bad. I'm just saying for advertising Daredevil Born Again and then not having the Born Again story is an interesting move.
Well, and again, I'm giving this a bit more grace, like I said last week, because again, they did do a complete overhaul of the show. Like where season 2 was going was not where season 2 was going. It was supposed to be in a completely different direction. So until season 2 comes and fails, I'm not gonna sit here and go, this was absolutely horrible. Again, they shot all of this stuff in 2023, maybe very early 2024. This was shot a long time ago. And then they wanted to bring in Karen. They wanted to bring in Foggy. John Bernthal said he wasn't going to return as Punisher because of whatever script they had in that moment. So they finally got him back when they changed the script, and they gave him some creative liberties to help bring him back. So until I see like, okay, this is where, yes, this is the path that they wanted to end up putting themselves on. Until I see that path start to fail, I'm not going to get upset at it yet. Again, I am still having fun with it. I loved the bank episode. I thought it was great. I actually, funny enough, I heard, was it Greg Alba? It might have been Greg Alba, but I heard him explain it like this. It feels like one of the Marvel special presentations could have been that self-contained Daredevil story with Yusuf Khan, and it actually would have done great. And I'm like, that's not a bad idea.
We are getting, not that it's necessarily directly related, but we are confirmed to be getting a John Bernthal, I think, written and directed Punisher Marvel special.
Written for sure. I don't know about directed, but written for sure.
I don't know about directed, but I'm almost positive it's written. Because even though John Bernthal said he wasn't going to come back for Daredevil Born Again, he has said so many times in interviews that he loves the character of Punisher. It's like his favorite he feels such a connection to the character of Punisher, and that's why he's like, I want to be able to write my own Punisher story. Now, I'm assuming it'll still have influence from the comic books, but it'll still be John Bernthal's Punisher. Because, I mean, I still remember there was a story, I don't know if you ever saw this, but he mentioned in interviews when John Bernthal, when it was originally announced that he was getting the role of Punisher, first thing he did was he ran out to a comic book store and started buying up comic books. And then the comic book dealer saw the stack of comic books, looked at him, and went, you're not getting this, you're not getting this, you're not getting this. No, you'll read this. Yeah, exactly. And it was like, and he looked at him and he was like, don't fuck this up. Because Punisher is a beloved character. And it is so funny to see John Bernthal. And the reason I bring this up is because it's funny to see John Bernthal going from someone who, I'm super glad he read the comic books, but clearly someone who wasn't super familiar with Punisher, to now someone who's so invested in his own character that he wants to write and is willing to step away from the character if he doesn't feel the script that's being written is going to portray the character as well as he wants it to be, which is what it sounds like was the problem with the original Daredevil script.
Well, and I also will say, we'll get back to Daredevil in a second, because I do like talking about John Bernthal, this character. I love him as this character, man. He's so good. I do think that he was one of those people who he took on this role with such ease, not because he read the comics, not because he knew who the character was, but because they gave him the description of the character. And I think in some way it kind of fits him. Not the family dying part, not at all. His family was not killed
I would hope not. I would hope not.
At a carousel. But you know, he served. He is a veteran, and he served. So he understands, you know, that side of it. He went through it. And so there is something very natural about, especially for an actor, it's not method acting, but in a sense, I guess you could call it. There is the idea that he can become very invested in the character because he feels very close to the character, and he understands what the character is going through because he went through a very similar thing. And
it's being able to put, again, not method acting, but being able to resonate with a character that you're playing. I genuinely believe, as someone who's not an actor, but someone who's seen you doing acting and also watching so many movies and TV shows, it is very important for you to be able to like resonate with that character, because if you can't, then you're just acting. And the problem with just acting is you could be a phenomenal actor, but if you don't like the character and you're literally just acting, I guess, for a paycheck is the best way to put it, but really just to act, then for me, that shows through. Like, I can't think of any
Sure.
examples off the top of my head, but I know I've watched movies and TV shows where you're like watching something and you're like, this person doesn't care about this character whatsoever. It's just them acting. And I don't want to watch someone just act. I want to watch
Sure.
someone be that character.
You want
Is
them to
that
take on
greedy
the
of me?
persona.
Yes. But
Yeah.
exactly. I want you to embody the character because that's just more enjoyable, and that is what I feel like acting is in its purest form, is being another character or being another person or whatever it might be.
Well, and especially when you pull from something specifically like, a book or a comic book, or you're pulling from any exterior source that's not like original or created. Even Star Wars to some example, because they have the books and the comics, and they've done that game for a little bit now too. But you if you were a fan of that book, you want to see that book done justice. You want to see this role done correctly. There was a movie that came out in 2023. I was really excited for it, not only because it was Martin Scorsese, but because about 2 years prior to that movie coming out, I had read a book called Killers of the Flower Moon, which was about these murders taking place in this Native American Osage area in I think it was 1937. 1930s, 1940s, around that time.
Close enough.
But specifically what this book is about is the birth of the FBI. We follow a man who is like one of the first FBI agents. It literally is like the first one of the first things the FBI ever did. It is literally the birth of the FBI solving a case, which is one of the biggest cases because it's a bunch of murders happening. And when I read that book and they started giving casting announcements, all I wanted was, okay, I cannot see you as DiCaprio was cast as one of the killers. And I literally went, okay, I cannot see you play Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street. I cannot see you playing Jack Dawson. I need to see the character of Ernest Burkhart. That's what I need to see. De Niro is another one. I cannot see you playing all these mafia film characters that you played. I need to see the character that they cast you in as as King. I need to see those characters, and so I understand where people are coming from specifically. It's really specifically with John Bernthal as Punisher, when it's like, okay, you don't fuck this up. You don't screw this up. This is very important.
Yeah.
You are an integral part of what makes, do not screw this up.
Yeah. Well, and it's a character that resonates a lot with people who have either lost their family or military, right? Like, that's one of the reasons it's such an important character, is it's not just a character. Again, that's why, and that's kind of going back to why I feel like you need to be able to resonate with the character. Like, an actor needs to be able to resonate with the character and live that character, is because the reason these characters are so popular and so meaningful to so many people is less because, oh, cool action, whatever. Like, yes, that's important, but the characters that you remember are the characters that you can feel yourself as a viewer, and you can resonate with them. Not necessarily through the performance, but through the character's story. Everyone can find a piece of themselves in a story, whether it let's bring up an example of Pirates of the Caribbean. Just because we talked about it last week,
sure,
I'm not a pirate, you're not a pirate. Like, no one can resonate with being a pirate, but you can resonate with that feeling of loneliness and going solo and finding yourself as a captain and a leader. You can resonate with that. You don't have to resonate with being a pirate, but you can resonate with the character traits. And that's why I feel like if that's the reason why we enjoy watching the characters, I personally want to see that out of the actors in them portraying the characters.
Sure. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. But coming back full circle,
coming back to the original topic,
coming back to Daredevil, the tone between these two episodes, between episode 5 and episode 6, are just very different. And it's not bad, but I will say it's more to its detriment, because from one moment you go to, oh, that was really fun. And, Daredevil is kicking butt, breaking legs, smashing faces into glass. It's really cool. And to the next you go, holy crap, Daredevil just said the F word. And, there's a serial killer about to kill White Tiger's daughter. I'm like, oh my God. what is happening? How did we get to
Yeah.
this? But I understand why they did what they did in releasing 2 episodes. They could have just released it week by week. I don't think anybody would have cared about that either. I do believe that they did this specifically because they knew episode 5 was its standalone story, and they had to get to that born again moment where Matt Murdock
Yeah.
and Kingpin to a degree both take on the personas that they once tried to leave behind and fully come back after they realized, okay, I've been gone all this time, and now this is happening in my city. We have, for Kingpin, we have vigilantes running around, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
stop that. For Daredevil, it's Muse is killing innocent people, and he's in the 60s. And I've done nothing about this because I've been so scared of my other half. And we get what is probably maybe the best fight scene so far in this show in episode 6. I
Okay.
think it's this really fun combination of, it cuts from Matt. He'll throw a right hook punch, and then the punch finishes with Kingpin smacking and decking this other dude with his right hand, and the camera's at the same angle. Like it flows so well, and it cuts back and forth as you're watching them literally be born again, as you're watching them both come back. It's not just like it was so creatively shot and so well done that it was really cool, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. And now we're at a point, now that they are born again, where do we go? What are we doing? Where's the focus of this? And I think they finally found it. Matt wants to take out Muse. Kingpin wants to get rid of all vigilantes, while at the same time getting back on top of the old life that he once had. And
yeah, being
I
a
get,
Kingpin.
which I guess you could say, like, even though the characters themselves didn't know that, we as the audience members know that. So it's kind of like, okay, now we have this. Now can we move forward, please?
Yeah, we
I'm not
finally
like
got to
that.
the point in which we've been waiting for.
I'm patient. And I'm not gonna say I'm like that. I also will still say this. Even with all its like tonal differences and clearly seeing the marked difference between what the original idea for the show was and what the new version of the show is, I still think that this season so far is better than season 2 of Daredevil, of the original show. Um, so I mean, as long as they finish strong, I'm perfectly fine with how this is gone. I'm enjoying my time. I think it's great.